everyone looks. All right. My goodness. Woo! What a new year! Literally, never has been more of a new year than right now. Very excited to be here with everyone. Very excited to be working back on this marvelous title. We are... Where are we at? What do we need to do here now? We're working our way through this proof of concept. And... GameMaker, here we go. Let's bring it up here. Run the game. Break use without what? That didn't used to be there. Exit. So break is only for loops. Worried about that exit completely breaking things now. Yeah. So last time we got our tiles all functioning well. And wow. We just got a full game crash. Let's go check that out. Mouse event left released. What are we saying? If object matter.active active polyominoes. Okay. You know, this is weird. Why is there an underscore I here, and why was this indented earlier? Okay. Why did that get pulled out? Why did I pull that out? Okay. This is the problem we were encountering. That's right. I remember now. We have assigned values to these polyominoes saying, hey, you can like have effects. They're objects with an effect property. And what we are saying is when you put them onto the grid, add them to an array, telling the building this inventory of what do you have equipped, right? Unfortunately, we do not have a way currently to stop it from adding if it is already there. So you can see here, we have 3 different instances of this polyomino. Clearly not great. So, how do we fix that? We have put in a loop to see if the ID is already in the array. We're going to loop through the entire array, check it all, and check if it is equal to the same ID polyomino that we have put in there. And if it is, break. But the problem is, I think it's just breaking out of the for loop. And we have the array push outside the for loop. So if we put the array push there, this should work, because the break will kick us out of the for loop. Oh, but that's gonna push at every step of the for loop, and that's not what we want. Blurg, okay, that's why. So what exactly does exit do? Okay, great. Unreachable code. What exactly does exit do? You're not gonna give me a little pop-up window? You're gonna make me go to the documentation? Wonderful. All right. This is one of those things that, like, when you use it enough times, you have an intrinsic understanding of what exactly this thing does. And I know vaguely, but what I'm worried about, if I do exit, will it quit out of the entire left released event? If it does that, I think that's probably not good. I just wanted to not do this. Exit simply ends the execution of the current script function method or event. So it's going to stop the entire event. Which we don't want. So we could set maybe like a repeat flag or something here and say repeat equals true. And I was like, well, if we're doing that, we might as well just like set a flag on an attribute on the object and say if it's equipped or not. And we don't have to compare against the ID. We just say, is this equipped? Don't do anything. Otherwise, add it. But I don't really want to do it that way. I'd love to do it by comparing to the array. I don't exactly know why. There's just something about it that feels... How do we do this? We're saying if the array is not empty, so let's add in some comments here, try and make this a little more readable. Check if the active poly array is empty. Is not empty, I guess. So we're checking if it's not empty, and then we're gonna loop through and see if this ID is already in the array. And if it is, we don't want to do it. But I guess what we could do is say, like, all right, let's be real. I think setting another variable would be the easiest way to do this, but I'm gonna do it a different way. where we're gonna say if this is equal to the ID, break. But else if underscore I is equal to array length, then we'll do the push. Basically saying if we're at the end of the array and it is still not the ID, then we can push, right? I think that'll work. Hey, whoop, whoop, whoop. It's kind of working. So we're not duplicating our equipment anymore, which is good. But then we drag it off and it's set to -4. So where are we setting this? Let's try and track this logic down a little bit here. Go through this again. Take a look at what we've got. Okay. If I drag this off, it gets reset to where it was. Which is in the snap to grid, right? Revert to prior state. Are we setting active in one of our scripts here? I don't think we are. False. If position meeting, mouse X, mouse Y, object of inventory grid. I think I need to, I'm struggling to conceptualize this. So I'm going to set a breakpoint on active equals false here. Go, define. So we're not, even triggering active equals false. Problem is, when we're letting go, we are deleting from the array, even if we snap back to a valid position. That's not good. Why would we be doing that? Why would we be doing that? So we are checking. Otherwise, remove it from the list once. Okay. So this is where we are removing from the list unless it is active. That's where snap to grid is mattering, and we're setting active equal to false. When are we setting active to true? Right here? Okay, there's another active equals false. Ooh. We're not hitting any of those breakpoints. Active equals false. Where are we assigning it false? In a lot of places, apparently. But these are all in buttons. So these are the only two places we're defining active false for polyomino. And oh, have I not been in debug this whole time? Shoot. All right, let's get rid of that breakpoint. Hit play. Get rid of that breakpoint. Wonderful. And can I look at my instances here? I wish I understood this instances panel. I'd love to be able to see all the attributes of this. This thing right here, I would love to see. Like, it doesn't seem to be able to let me write anything in. All right. Right on. So let's go ahead and throw a breakpoint in here. Wow, breakpoints really break this. I get the feeling our if actives are causing problems here. When are we setting active to true? Only one time. Okay. So I'm curious what will happen if we do show debug message active. One, 0. But what state is it in now? Because it reverted. It should never actually be put on 0 except for... Yeah, no. It should never be taken like that. Why is active getting set false? So this check happens after the placement. Okay. This one happens if we are off the bounds of the grid, or if we're not colliding with another tile. But if we're off the grid, we let go. And then it will snap back to our initial positions. And then it should be good, and we should set active equal to true. Okay. Why are we hitting this breakpoint multiple times? Okay. Okay. Get rid of these breakpoints. Let's put all of these on the grid. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. What just happened there? Like my whole polyomino just like got obliterated. What? Oh. These two tiles have the same ID. Oh, that's our problem. Those two tiles have the same ID. And so the game is saying, hey, you have the same ID in here, and you're putting it off the grid, so I'm going to remove it. And it breaks everything. Try this again. Breakpoint. Debug. Here. Slot that in there. Slot that in there. Okay. What? 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 Execution error. Variable index 1 out of range. Okay. Are we... This shouldn't be working. What? That's not how this should be working at all. Let's try this again. What is this weird bug? Okay. Variable index 1 out of range. Why are you in here? What is your array length of object manager active polyominoes? It should be 0. And then I is 1. I is no longer less than or equal to the array. To make this a little bit easier to debug, let's make a temporary variable. Array length equals. I'm gonna copy and paste. It's long. Go. Bloop. Then we can copy array length and find and replace all this jazz. Replace. And copy that back into the declaration. Now we should be able to debug this a little bit more easily because we can see what array length is. Okay. Array length is 1. Oh. Do we need to have it be array length -1? So array length is base 1, but arrays are base 0. Is that kind of what I'm hearing here? Yeah, because we need it to be equal to the array length at some point. We need it to be equal to the array length at some point. So yeah, I think we can do a -1 here. Let's try that. Okay, great. No longer breaking the game. We're not... These have the same instance ID? That's a problem. But I'm seeing a whole bunch of stuff we need to start fixing in here. We're checking if array length is bigger than 0. Right? But then we're checking if it is 0. Oh, right, because we can delete it and then it becomes 0 in before that loop executes. Okay, so that actually works. Oh, goodness. So we have a problem here. These are instances of an object, but they are elements of an instance. And I'm wondering if what we're getting is the instance and not the element. But oh well, whatever. Let's tidy some stuff up. That. Okay, yeah, we don't need that anymore. Ugh, what could be the problem? Let's try and get effects. Character effects are now. Underscore I is less than array length minus 1. I plus. Really wish there was a simpler way to write. It's quite annoying. Wait, you mean this won't work? I don't believe it. Yeah, took a wild stab in the dark there that maybe the string was the problem. Whatever. We'll just deal with the repeats. It's fine. We need a lot of repeats here. That's just fine. This isn't even triggering. Why not? Can I do this? Not have it reference a specific index and like that's just cool? You good with that? Okay. No. Okay. Then why didn't this, oop. Oh, is it because we don't have an equal to? Yeah, we got extra life and extra life. We're referencing the same thing because line 3, double jump. So we need to not be referencing the ID. What I'm looking for is a way to find the ID this tile versus this tile. Function gets the layer ID that's the layer. Can be used to get the unique instance ID of the given instance element. Okay, this is looking better. Layer instance, get instance. Okay. Layer instance, get instance of ID. Is that gonna work? Let's say, let's declare this up here. Var instance equals copy u, paste, paste, paste. Okay. Oh, we do have this guy we need to, well. Ah. Okay. This is breaking stuff. Let's see what we're getting for instance here. What do you do? That was 1. 0. The same thing. So that's not good. Not really working for me. This seems incredibly convoluted. Looking at this code example they give, they're setting a variable elements to layer get all elements. That creates an array of all the elements on the instances layer. Then, if the layer get element type, so we're checking the type of each element in that element's array, and if that type is layer element type instance, so if it's an instance, which it should be because you're on the instances layer, right? Then declare layer element equal to elements at I, and variable inst equals layer instance get instance at layer element. This seems crazy pants complicated, right? Like, unreasonable. Sprite asset tile map. Apply the unique element ID value, for example, as returned function that created the editor. Where would we find that? Jiminy Christmas. This documentation, man, it is such a mess. Is the name the ID? I'm thinking we need to create an array of tiles in code and then create a grid of that array in the room through code, because then we will have all of these little IDs. Oh, I think that's just what it's gonna have to be. Oh boy. Okay, so let's go back to our object manager. Gonna be doing a lot of work in here right now. Let's convert it to code, because we're gonna have to make an array of structs, and we're gonna have to nuke active polyominoes. So let's see. Give me one quick second. Okay. So we want all or unlocked. It's not even unlocked. They're in possession. They're in your bag. Bag underscore, I don't know. Names are the hardest thing. ChatGPT, save me. Variable name for an array of polyominoes in the character's inventory. In the character's possession. No. Give me a variable name for an array of polyominoes that are in the character's possession. Try 10 different versions. Owned? I like owned. Yeah, let's go with owned. Owned polyominoes equals. And then we're gonna have a bunch of structs. And we're gonna start with 2. So we're gonna say obj poly line 3. Can I just do that? Can I just reference the object? Supposedly, if we never have a duplicate object, I mean, yeah, referencing an array of objects is basically the same thing as an array of structs, right? Conceptually speaking, they're very similar. Does that cause any problems? I think so. So, okay, trying to think long term, thinking ahead of the pack here. How would a player start their state? And we're gonna need to pull from some polyominoes and then add them into the characters. Poly underscore T. I bet there's probably a better way to do this, like looping through all of the objects and look for obj underscore poly. As long as it's not parent, then add it to the array, and then I can just add as many as I wanted and not have to deal with the big master list. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So how do you loop through all objects? In asset browser. Tags. And seems rad. Okay. I need to learn more about tags. What can you do with tags? Are they nifty? Are they powerful? Can you find them and put them in things? I imagine so. Tags. Tags get asset IDs? This function gets all the assets of a given type, have the given tags assigned to them. You supply either a single tag or an array, for each item in the array is a tag, as well as the type of asset to check. Okay. So I just say asset underscore, not asset underscore, what am I doing? Tag get asset IDs. You want the IDs? Or I just want the assets? I just get assets? The names of all assets that have been assigned. Okay. I think this will work. And then the tag will be polyomino. Oops. Tags. Tag. Our manager. Equals. String is expected. Ah. Gotcha. You put it in quotes. Okay. So that now gets a list of all of our polyominoes into an array. And then we want to give the first two player. Oops. Get all of the polyominoes into an array. Give the player the first two. For I equals 0. And as long as I is less than or equal to all array length of all polyominoes minus 1 I plus plus. Prep the the polyominoes in the players prep the owned polyominoes. Player the first two. Owned polyominoes equals let's do that. It's an empty array. And then we will take owned polyominoes. We actually don't even want the array length, do we? We just want the first two. So as long as it's less than or equal to 1. Minus 1. Less than or equal to 1. At I equals all polyominoes at I. So that should give us an owned polyominoes object. Well, let's do a show debug just to make sure that we got this right. This should happen on object on the manager creation show as soon as we boot up. Yes. Object poly t, object poly line 3. Perfect. Go back to the void. Let's delete these guys. And then we need to create on room load of the void. So we need to go to the room. We need some creation code here. Convert to code. Layer, create, instance, create, layer, create, instance, create layer. Yeah. Okay, I just missed it. And we're gonna go at, let's say, 100x and 500y. We're gonna put it on the instances layer. And it will be all, no, not all, owned polyominoes, obj underscore manager dot owned polyominoes at an array position. We need this to be a 4. Or underscore I equals 0. where I is less than or equal to the array length of obj manager dot owned polyominoes minus 1 I plus. And then we don't want to put these here. So let's I'm doing this wrong. And this is why we need to use this, is because it will return the ID. So we need an array here. We need do we need an array? Do we need to store this? I think so. Owned or poly underscore IDs equals an empty array. And then we're gonna set poly underscore ID at I equals instance create layer 100 plus 100 times I, just to make it expand out. Then obviously that's going to need to return carriage at some point, but we'll do that later. Now, I know that's saying I'm expecting a string. You're giving, or I'm expecting an object, you're giving me a string. Yeah. I need to change that. How do I de-stringify? How do you de-stringify something in GameMaker? No, okay. Given a string, given an object name as a string, how might I transform it into a usable object name, not a string? That's not quite right. Not quite right. How might I create a grid of objects from an array that contains only object names as strings? Can you get an index of something that doesn't exist yet? Get index. Getting a little confused here. We need get name. String. I don't. We have the name. Found using object get name. And use this string, get the object index. Use the return string, along with the function asset get index. Web code will get an object index from a string. That index exists. Create an instance of an object in the game. Web code will get an object index string. And if that index exists, create an instance of the object in the game. So I think this is what we need to do here. Can we do this? No. Yeah. That's our problem. So, because we're trying to feed in an array when it's just wanting a string. That's not going to work. So, I think this is where it would go, right? Right? We're going to get the index of these positions, put them into own. Or we could just set it to itself. So we're basically just saying, transform this list of names into a list of objects. Is that gonna work? Yep, we're referencing objects. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, gonna get crashed, but hey, this is working. This is great. Space them out a little bit more. Boom. There we go. I do want to bring them up a couple hundred pixels just so we're not having any danger of hitting that workshop button. Go. Ah, so great. Now, is there a way to create something at a smaller scale? How might you create an object with a smaller scale? You just set it after you create it. Okay, sure, fine, great. Rabjus. Okay. So now, something strange is happening. Where when we try to put this on, we're now getting something broken. Let's go to that. Object poly parent. This is where we're breaking, because we're accessing a property of an object right here. Property of an object that does not exist. Right? That's our problem. So why was that not getting added in? Put a breakpoint. Oh, let me actually remember to run debug mode. Also, I think it's time. Maybe we can try. There we go. I'm gonna set the void as home. start off with. Come on, come on. Cyberrack, hello on Twitch. And Arian on YouTube, love the I got laid off title. Thank you. How we all doing today? Come on in. Excited to make some games with everyone. All right, so we've got our tiles here. We should have a breakpoint. No. Oh, that's right, because I hit play instead of debug again. Duh. My nemesis. There we go. Okay. So, let's see what we've got here. So, array length is 1. Good. Instance is bad. Instance should not be -4. Yeah, instance should not be -4. Why is instance -4? That means no one. It's not good. How are we not getting the ID of this anymore? For instance, get instance. I mean, it says the ID is right there, right? 100033. Why are we at 4? -4. Why are we at no one? Why is it not detecting that? Hope everyone's having a wonderful new year. I know I'm ringing it in, doing what I've been really excited about recently. I hope you are too. You deserve to. Let's see here. Okay, so we need to look up layer instance, get instance. Like, why is that no longer working? We use to get the unique instance ID of the given instance element. Give the instance element ID, see below. The function will return a real value that represents the unique instance ID. The element is not an instance. The function will return 1. Okay. Why is layer instance get instance returning -4 for the following line of code? What will be the twist in this game? Cyberwreck, couldn't be more thrilled for you to ask. So the point of this game is that it is an incremental platformer. So throughout the levels you will go through, and the idea is it's going to be kind of Thomas Was Alone in its storytelling and narrative conceptually. And then every time you fail a level or complete a level, you get returned to the incremental side of things, where you can spend all those coins you've been picking up in the level, anything that you have auto-generated from previous levels that you've beaten. So like once you beat that first level, you'll randomly, or not randomly, but you will on a timer get coins. Get these tiles. And you enter the shop and you can buy upgrades that will allow you to modify how your platforming functions. So if I get a couple of run speed upgrades, I can now change how my character behaves. So you can kind of build your own platformer. And then as well, these polyominoes are going to be special abilities to further amplify. And this is where I don't have it all designed out yet. This is mostly proof of concept. Can I build the rough idea of what I have? And if I can build that, then we can start like designing things out a little bit. But these polyominoes are going to be special abilities. So like you can now swim through water instead of instantly dying. You can now have a double jump. You can now do X, Y, or Z thing and continue to tailor not only the physics and how your character performs and how the world around you reacts, but also how you are able to change your entire person, create a new creature, as it were. instances unfair. That's cool. So basically endless content and replayability. That's kind of the thought. I mean, it is definitely going to have a very heavy narrative, but I do love roguelikes. I just made a little master copy of Talented in my spare time, and gonna be putting a YouTube short on that up here soon. And it was a ton of fun. I love roguelikes, and I think it plays into a lot of the strengths of what games provide. Not everything means, but a lot. So I'd love to have endless content, endless replayability. I just need to find a way to work it into the design in a way that makes sense. Because like I said, it's going to be heavily narrative. And so I don't know if that would be a great, you've unlocked now this space where you can infinitely play through randomly generated levels. I've toyed around with a map editor and maybe doing a Mario Maker style experience where people can build their own maps, upload them, download them, and then once again, you tailor your character to fit this new challenge of a map. Maybe even turning player-generated maps into a roguelike, almost like a, what's it called? What's the game called? Where you're invading each other's bases. You like build a base, and then you spend your gameplay invading it. Invading other people's bases. What would it be? Game where you invade other people's bases. Post up. Got kind of a grunge aesthetic. And it's not very old. Shoot, it was on PlayStation Plus just a little bit ago. $2023. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, that's a concept that I've had. I don't know. It's all stuff to keep on exploring. Oh, wait, I see the picture. What is this one? Meet your maker? There it is. Meet your maker. Yep, this one. Right here. Meet your maker. So Meet your maker style, where people can build levels, upload them, and then you kind of play through it now, and you have to tailor to it. That's a massive increase in scope, but it's something that we're thinking about. It'd be really fun. On each try, you'll be able to add upon the level design, or is it still going to be just random generated areas? That's a really good question. So let me go over to my whiteboard here. From a conceptual standpoint, the thought, if we decided to go that route, is that this store upgrade system, follow myself now, could be used to modify the level, right? So you have your level, and you have like a start point, right? Where your character starts, and then you have an end point that you're trying to get to. And then a predefined set of like things that are there. Some monster got a trap of spikes. And then before you jump into the level, you can, from your inventory of things you have purchased, move stuff into level and kind of build it. Kind of drag this in, and it becomes a new platform. And then maybe you shrink your character size down so that now you're just a little guy, and then you can go through and do your jump and avoid the things. So that's one concept, where it's puzzle, platformer, incremental. Once again, this is all starting to explode the scope. It could be as simple as you have a level and it is pre-built, and it is Thomas Was Alone style, and you're just trying to accomplish an objective, and you progress level 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 until you beat the game. And then in between each of these level attempts, you're doing your shop and player maintenance. I don't know. I don't really know yet. Like I said, this is kind of just the proof of concept. Like, can I even build this general idea? What skill sets do I need in order to even explore this as a design possibility? And we're moving along. We've actually built a pretty good amount of the things. All of these green check marks are things that we've got. We're working on this polyomino set, and this is probably the biggest thing we have left to do. So we're getting pretty close. All this other stuff of making, the actual passive income parts, which is the incremental part of this, and then just having a set of icons attached to each level to display to kind of preview this is what is going to be coming up in this next level, this is what you may want to build for. All that sort of stuff. And then when I say preview of what you want to build for, my brain starts going wild. Ooh, what sort of roguelike things can we do? So yeah, that's kind of the basic idea. Right. So our problem here is we're player instant get instance ID. Can I just do get ID? Like, do I need the instance there? Oh. Okay. This is good. In our console, we're getting 2 different instances now. That's good. 33 and 32. But we're not adding in new stuff is the problem. Yeah. And then when we remove something, once again, we get back to an empty array with nothing inside of it. That's problematic. So that ID did fix it. That's good. So why are we not pushing? Why are we not pushing into our array? Got double jump. We're not doing it. Once again, I hit play instead of debug. My eternal nemesis. All right. Now I know I hit debug this time, and we are not going into here. Why not? We only have one time where we're pushing. So why is it not pushing? Also, why is the breakpoint not triggering? Very strange. Very strange. What is happening here? If active. I'm going to do something that I know is going to break it. I know I hit play that time. Back to the debugger. Okay, so we are getting the right thing there. Here we go. Now we're back down to 0. That should break. Okay. Because we're trying to push to an empty array. Oops. Did the wrong thing. Try this again. Okay. We broke out of our array again. Ah. This is really strange. I mean, are breakpoints working at all? Did I somehow break the entire thing? No. Setting. This is now equal to instance. Okay. Good. So that's working. So we are detecting if this is an empty array, if the array is no one, then set the first point for this. But then, uh-oh, we're doing multiples. That's not good. Oh my goodness. Okay, stop. Stop. You're breaking. Try this again. Figure out the double. Another time. Okay, so play, right? What is going on there now? See that? Okay. Now it's not doing it. Is it just an artifact of debug mode? We've seen a couple of them. Yeah. It's like throwing the polyomino back onto the mouse. That's weird. Is it because it's not able to trigger some event? Because it still thinks it's being dragged, and so it's like, I don't know how to handle this. Okay. Let's hit a breakpoint inside this for. Okay. So we are hitting in here. We are detecting that that the array is not empty. So we're looping to see if this is the same thing. Which it is. Because no, it's not. Okay. I is equal to array length. It isn't. Why are we checking if it's equal? Oh, right, because we wanna get to the end of the array. And then we're kicking out. So we're not hitting the end of the array. That's our problem. Okay. Okay. But the problem is if we remove that -1, it will be 0, 1, and then 2. That 2 will break things, right? Yeah. We're out of range now. Variable index 1 out of range 1. And it doesn't have. My brain is really struggling think things through today. This is just being a tough day for analytical things. So, we are not at the end of the array yet. So, keep going. Let me, while we're debugging here, let me move this down a little. Right there. There we go. Probably more place for it to be just in general. Okay. So I is less than or equal to 1. 0 is less than or equal to 1. And the array has content in it. I mean, do I just... Ugh. Arrays, man. They break my brain, and there's not really a great reason. Do I just check the index -1? Is that going to fix it? It feels dumb. Feels like it shouldn't. Okay, good. Still breaking. Oh, because now we're at -1. Getting rid of that equal sign gonna fix it? No. I mean, it's not crashing anymore, so that's good. All right. So I is equal to 0, and it is not the same thing in the 0th spot of that array. Should skip over to here. Okay. Go. I is not equal to array length. We're not going to push. Then we go back up to our 4. I is no longer less than the array length. So we kick out. We never get that push. This is the struggle that I'm hitting. We need to be getting to that. We need to be comparing against that last array spot. But it feels like it's comparing and then adding, then running through. And really, we need it to add and then compare. So can I do this? Is that gonna just completely break things? Still out of range. What's happening? If I is less than the array length, or equals the array length, it's not, should pick up. Weird. I don't know why we went back up to that comment line. So now we're back here. I is less than or equal to array length, which is true. Oh. There's no one spot. Okay. This is a logic problem. I feel like I'm starting to peel back the layers here. I feel like this is a very simple thing. that my brain is just not conceptualizing. That breaks it. Yeah. So I think what we need to do how do we fix this? I keep on getting like half solutions in my head, and then I realize, oh no, that's not going to work. Like I thought about, what if we moved this into here, right? And swap these around. Swap these conditions around. So we're checking if we are equal to the array length. If we are not equal to the instance, and if we are at the end of the array, push. Else, break. And maybe we can move this I++ back up. I don't have a great feeling about this, but it seems a little better. Yeah, okay. All right, let's jump back into debug. Man, I am really breaking my brain against this. And I know this is a simple logic problem. I know that I'm just not seeing it. So if we're equal to the array length, to just push it, right? If we're equal to the array length, that means we're on the last, we're past the last. Which means if we just get rid of the equal sign up above, then we are going to be looping through everything. We are going to be looping through everything. Which means we can just nuke that, right? Do our check to see if this is a repeat. We don't want to do this push here because that's going to be pushing on every step of the for, every loop of the for, which we don't want. That's going to be flooding it. Really what we want is it to happen outside here, right? We want to loop through and see, is there thing? Okay, and that's why we were doing that check. If, going in circles here, if I is equal to array length -1, then push. Because that means we are at the end of the array, because array length is 1 past the end of the array, right? Meaning nothingness. It is broken at that point. Feeling better about this one. Hey, all right. We got 2 objects in there. Hot diggity dog. Okay. Now then. This is working. I'm kind of freaking out because I can't validate the effects are correct because for some reason this loop is not working. But we're getting our other debug message working. I'm just gonna that. I got rid of a curly brace we didn't want to. Put that there. Okay. So now in the player, right? In the player object, we need to now take these values, which finally work. Okay, no, hold on. We need to take a moment. We need to take a moment and celebrate the fact that we got this working. This is a thing now. We made a drag and drop system. You can put things onto a grid. It will validate things correctly. It will take things off of the grid and catalog the extra abilities for your player. That is a tremendous thing. I mean, that's a big deal. That's really important. Okay. I need to go take care of a little kid who is needing some attention. I'll be right back. And we're back. All right. So, what were we trying to get done here? We were trying to now accept the results of that grid and use them to affect how the player exists. So in the create event, we need to say max HP plus the total amount of extra life that you have. We're gonna need to loop through the array. So now we probably don't need to do verticode, but it's the only way I know how. I don't know how to do a for loop. So, let's see here. For so many for loops, my goodness. Equals 0. For variable I equals 0. And I is less than array length of active obj underscore manager dot active polyominoes. And then I plus plus. If obj manager dot active polyominoes at I is equal to dot effect extra life extra HP plus plus. Let's organize this a little bit better. Putting it in front of the hit point section. E equals 0. Yeah. Good. Okay, there's that. Now we can have max HP plus extra HP. Yeah. Now we need to go into space. If rounded, or we need to check for double jump. I'm going to want to eventually change this to be a switch. But for now, just so we can do something, in the last couple of minutes that we have before I need to go be a dad again, then we're going to set double jump equals double jump true active equals true, and jump count equals 0. And this could be cool because then you can actually make any number of jumps. I am not declaring this correctly. I always need to look this up again. How declare a struct. curly braces. I'm getting mixed up with cases. Switch cases. Okay. I don't think we need struct. We don't need to like declare it. Yeah, that's not correct. ChatGPT, you're failing me here. So we do just need a that. All right? Ah. Instead of equals, it is colons. There we go. So I was doing the colons before. And instead of semicolons, commas. There we go. So then, if we're in the, if double jump equals, double jump. Ooh, there's a better way to structure this. No time. No time. I got a matter of seconds before I need to go. Double jump dot active equals true, and double jump dot jump count current is less than the max, which we'll have to declare. And these two need to be evaluated together. Then we need to set jump count max equals 1. And then down below, jump count equals 0. Backdoor spacebar. Increment the jump count. Double jump dot jump count equals plus plus. And then we need to, when we hit grounded, when are we setting grounded? If grounded equals true, then also set reset jump count. This is double jump dot jump count equals 0. Yeah? Is this gonna work? Is this all gonna work on the first try? Ooh. You. Next level. No! Unable to find instance for object index in object player create. Or create. If object manager dot active polyominoes effect equals extra life. Go debug message. Object manager dot active polyominoes. Effect. Are you gonna let me do that? You probably won't because I'm looking for an array. Yeah. So let's just do let's just hack this together here real quick. Speed of the essence. especially if we're going to be doing a game jam here soon. Quick is better than polished for now. Okay. Even when we're just trying to show the debug message. Breaking. This might have to be a tomorrow thing to figure out, which is such a bummer. I was really looking forward to checking off some more things. Because we are like, we're so close. I just want to put the check mark on. If I don't have a clear understanding of why this is happening by the time I hit next level, I'll have to wait till. Yeah, that's weird, because we have the objects. Reference 33 and 32. Unable to find instance for object. Oh, is it because the object doesn't exist anymore in the room? Might be the case. That's what we're gonna have to figure out how to overcome next time. In any case, thank you so much everyone for joining us. Hope you had a good time hanging out. Happy New Year, and I hope you get to play and make a lot of games. I hope you get to chase your dreams. Here, see you tomorrow.